So the higher the goal that you set, the more things have to go right for you to achieve that outcome. So I'm thinking back to my marathon, 3 hours, 45 minutes was the goal, and we missed that by 13 minutes. And we got 39 degrees today, and this is by far the coldest we've had all year. But I think back to how many things had to go right, and the main thing that went wrong was the fueling strategy. So obviously taking 2 gels during the race is not gonna cut it, and I didn't feel good. My stomach was just kind of shut down. So in the moment, I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with 2 gels and we'll just push through. And then mile 20, we just fell off a cliff and things went poorly. So obviously, you look at that as a huge mistake. In retrospect, I would have taken many more gels. But when you're playing it by how you feel and you don't have an actual strategy, then you just see how it goes. And seeing how it goes messed up my time. So that's what we need to fix. It's cold. Cold. All right, all done with our 5K, 3.2 miles, and our final time was 23:06, 7 minutes, 12 seconds per mile. Our previous best was 23:18, so it's only a 12-second PR, but it's a PR. I'm not gonna complain about it. I don't know, I feel like the 5K is just as difficult as a marathon. You get just as fatigued. The only difference is your body doesn't hurt so bad. So, I don't know, maybe I expected a little bit better, but it's also really cold. And like at mile 1, I was just sucking in 39-degree wind. I think that might have been the difference maker. So either way, good freaking effort. When I think about the staircase to our next goal, next year we're going to be running in the Cleveland Marathon, and I'm super excited to be there. And my goal is to run sub 3:30, which is a really big goal for me. I can distinctly think back to the marathon when I was running past Sylvia, about to go up on the big bridge at the end, and I think that was mile 19.
Good job. Do you want this last one? Okay. Keep going, you got it.
Obviously that's what I needed. I needed more carbs, I needed more energy, and I turned it down because my stomach didn't feel good, and I was like, it's not gonna help, I'm just tired. But the reason you're tired is because you're hitting a wall, you're running out of energy. So everything you need when it comes to fuel is under the umbrella of these couple things. We're talking water, electrolytes, carbs, and caffeine. That's pretty much everything you need before and then during. So for today, a 5K, you don't need as much. I had maybe 6 ounces of orange juice, water, black coffee, which had one very important purpose to it. And then the gel I had, I took like 15 minutes before we ran the 5K, and that was like 22 grams of carbs, so not much. And that's kind of my goal, is to like start a foundation of building toward that marathon. And we're like 28 weeks away, so we have so much time, but I don't want to waste time. So I want to work on my speed, which is what we're doing today. Our training program is a couple weeks away, and it's going to be a cold fall and winter. I'm already freezing just standing here. So we got to work on our speed. We got to start building up our miles, and today's all focused about cleaning up those fueling mistakes. Missing our goal by 13 minutes was a big miss, and I think it was all because of the gels. Maybe the hills too, but mainly the fueling. So that's the first thing we're trying to fix. So what I did today, basically I wrote down what I had for fuel before the race, or before the 5K. That way I can kind of look back and monitor how I felt. I'm just pretending I'm totally fine right now. I am freezing cold, but at least I can look back at what I consumed and tell myself I felt really good. If I write down something, let's just say I had a latte and my stomach's feeling like crap, If I had something like milk or dairy and my stomach feels really bad, then I can know not to have that again. So I do want to start journaling everything that I'm eating. So with that in mind, for focusing on fixing the mistake of not having a fueling strategy, I feel like that's the first thing I can do to give myself more confidence in our build to a sub 330 in Cleveland, Ohio. And we're about 200 days out. So we got a lot of time to keep building. All right, we're about to eat dinner, and when I was talking about my run today, Sylvia was like, why did you run extra? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, you ran 3.2 miles. And I was like, yeah, I ran a 5K. And she was like, a 5K is 3.1 miles. And I was like, seriously? Now I sounded so stupid for the rest of that video. So looking at this, if we actually look at the PR, 6:59, 7:08, and 7:11. So our actual time was 22:20. Which is like a 46-second PR. So that looks a little bit better. I needed to bring that up because, one, I do want to prove I know what a 5K is, and two, I think I'm just so marathon-minded that I forget about that stuff. So 3.1. Whatever.